how buy now, pay later schemes can actually make you poor. This does not come as a surprise to anybody who's ever listened to me about anything over the last 6 years on any of my other channels. You know that I have been personally attacking these types of buy now, pay later schemes, whether it's Apple credit card charging you 0% interest, or Klarna, or any of the buy now, pay later schemes that every website seems to offer. If they offer you something, it's probably better for them. That's just typically how it goes. McDonald's doesn't just give you free food when you go there. They make you pay for it. And if they lower the price, they probably lower the quality of ingredients. And so they're making even more money on top of the money that they were already making. So this article is from the Washington Post. It's called Why Buying Now, Paying Later Can Still Be a Debt Trap. Though many consumers view buy now, pay later as better than credit cards, spreading out these payments can lead to overspending. This, to me, seems so obvious. I love how the Washington Post has come up with these articles. Like, who doesn't immediately look at buy now, pay later and think, yeah, this is just a way for them to make me spend more money because I can't really afford this with cash today. And instead of buying it with cash today or just not buying it at all, they're going to let me buy it over the course of 10 months, $200 a month, and I spent $2,000 that I never really had in the beginning to buy this. Reading from the article here, from 2019 to 2021, buy now, pay later, BNPL, use skyrocketed. Loans originated in the United States climbed from $16.8 million to $180 million, and dollar volumes jumped 12-fold to $24.2 billion, according to the 2022 CFPB report that surveys 5 largest lenders. So obviously people are using these schemes, or using these scams, or using these companies' tactics against themselves. People have become so materialist that they don't care about the fact that this item that they're buying is the reason that they're staying poor, or they're staying broke, or they're having to live paycheck to paycheck. The vast majority of people in this country could do a lot better financially. Not everybody, I get it, whatever. But the vast majority of people would do better financially if they just didn't fall for these stupid buy now, pay later schemes. It's no different than buying a car that you can't afford, or a house that you can't afford. Buying stuff that is significantly, like where the monthly payment is a significantly larger percentage of your take-home pay than it should be, is what keeps most Americans broke. The idea of a car payment to me is just ridiculous. I haven't had a car payment in a long time. And you think some of these car payments now are $1,000, $1,200, $1,300. I've seen videos of people where they walk around and ask other car salesmen at the store, and they say, how much is your car payment? And they're all like $700, $800, $900, $1,200. It's just ridiculous, because if you actually were to just invest that money, and you knew I was going to pull that up, you can invest that money, the $1,000 a month, instead of buying a car. You could just invest that money into a mutual fund that just follows the market. And let's say you invested for 40 years, you were 27, and then at the time you stopped investing this $1,000 every month, you were 67, and you're going to invest $1,000 a month, and your annual rate of return will be 10%. Your total estimated amount of money at the end of that will be $6,324,078. Instead, you bought car after car after car after car for $1,000 a month monthly payment. And the money that you lost, not only the money that you lost by not investing, because you contribute $480,000 and the growth is $5.8 million. So that's how much you're losing, $5.8 million. But you also are buying a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car that at the end of that term loan, let's say it's 6 years or 7 years, it's going to be what? 20, 15, 10,000. So you buy this $80,000 car, you pay $1,000 a month for 96 months or something, 8 years. And then at the end of that loan, this is the most ridiculous thing. You buy an $8,000 car. At the end of that loan, let's say it's worth 20. So you lose $60,000 and you don't invest any of that money. This is what keeps the middle class. The middle class is what keeps the lower class. And instead of being able to jump up, they buy cars that they can't afford to impress people they don't know. That way they can seem like they're doing a lot better than they actually are. All you have to do is invest that money. It's literally the simplest thing. If you're going to buy a car, just don't buy it with cash. Wait. Stick it out. I don't know. My wife and I have gone from one car to two car to one car to two car. And I think one car, honestly, for the most part, is enough. Almost never do we need more than one car. And if you find yourself needing more than one car, consider getting like an electric bike. I've made a video about my electric bike on my other channel, and it's really one of the most remarkable ways to get around. They're $1,000. My brother gave me mine for free because I have the best brother on the planet, and as you will see in that video. But $1,000 for a mode of transport that can get you, mine can take me, I believe it's up to 15 miles if I'm just not even pedaling at all. So it's basically just like an electric, it's like an electric motorcycle. And so you could take that And just you could get almost anywhere 15 miles. I mean, I live in the country in the sticks, and I still drive it to the downtown that I live by. And it's like 3 or 4 miles to the downtown that I live by. So you can get around places without a car. And I think the dependence on a car is a very uniquely American problem, but also it's a uniquely American thing to buy a car that they can't afford to impress people that they don't know or don't even like. So these $1,000 a month car payments or the buy now, pay later type schemes, they are always a trap. If you can't afford it with cash, I have heard some rules where it's like, if you can't afford, like if you can't pay for it twice or 3 times, don't buy it. I think that's a dumb rule. The rule I go by is this: should I invest this money instead? And the answer is almost always yes. Obviously, there are times in your life where you have to spend money and you're just going to lose the money on that. And I'm bad at that. Like I will buy this laptop, and I have made thousands of dollars using this laptop, probably tens of thousands of dollars at this point through all my video editing with weddings, YouTube, that type of stuff. I've made $10,000+ with this laptop, and I waited to get a good deal on it for $1,200 as opposed to just buying one for $14. So obviously I'm a little stupid, but buying used, buying with cash, that kind of stuff can save you so much money down the road. It's actually remarkable. Looking at my wife's and mine's net worth over the last 3-4 years, once we really started getting into the money and making sure that we're understanding how money works, it's remarkable just how fast money will grow. It's absolutely mind-boggling how fast money will grow if you just start to invest it. Just invest it into a mutual fund that follows the market and don't touch it. Don't get cute. Don't try to outsmart the market. You will never outsmart the market. Just let it go and it'll grow. And there's going to be times where it's bad, but then you just wait it out and then it'll grow up again. And that's just how it goes. It's patience, 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 and understanding that you have a plan that you're following. And buying a new car or fancy this or fancy that will not make you happy. These buy now, pay later schemes, the Klarnas of the world, Affirm is another one. Don't use any of these businesses that will just allow you to buy stuff now that you can't afford to impress people you don't like. Just don't buy it. Buy it with cash or don't buy it at all. And I would suggest that you probably don't need it and just invest that money instead. I will link an investment calculator that I always have learned so much from just by pumping in numbers and saying, man, I could find $1,000 a month. I could flip some computers. I could work an extra wedding. I could save. I could not go out to eat as much. You start to see how fast these numbers can grow, and $1,000, how quickly that can turn into $6.5 million. Honestly, you might not be able to experience that money in your lifetime. And that's one of the things. You have to be able to think past you. If you can invest this money and you could save, you will probably live a better life, almost certainly. Because if you can learn the principles that I'm trying to preach to you, you will almost certainly do better in life. But also, there's a part of you, you have kids, you have a wife, you have a legacy. If you could leave a legacy of $10, $15 million just because you were able to invest it, that could potentially grow even bigger and support generations of your family. Doesn't that sound incredible? Like the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, they've never had to work. Obviously, that comes with its own problems, and I understand that. But if you can raise your kids with good values and they appreciate good values to your kids' kids, then maybe you could have generational wealth that you did because you didn't want to buy on Klarna, you didn't want to buy on Affirm. You were trying to create generational wealth that could affect not only you, but also your family's family. Like just so many generations down the line. Think about Rockefeller or Carnegie. I mean, they were extremely wealthy. Some of the most wealthy men of all time were the Rockefellers and the Carnegie. But if you see how that money has affected their lineage, it's 200 years of American excellence because of one guy. He created billions of dollars of net worth. Chase, just billions of dollars of net worth for their family. And obviously, like, whatever you could say about billionaires, I don't really care. It's just more the fact that they could create this legacy for generations of their family. And so they've been dead for 200 years, 150 years, 100 years, and their money is still feeding the mouths of their kids. And that's remarkable. That's a remarkable way to think. And that's a remarkable way to live your life. Because if you live like that, you will be able to experience a lot more love today if you're thinking about the future. And in my opinion, that's sort of how I've always lived. Stop using Affirm, stop using any of these Klarna, stop using any of that stuff. It's junk, it's garbage, it's going to make you poor. Just trust me on this one.